Hey, what's going on? It's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. Kind of a quiet week. There's some good stuff going on though. Liv Morgan made a guy sell his house. Ric Flair in the ring with Jay Lethal. Triple H talks AEW. Plenty more. Jonathan Gresham all over Battle of the Belts. I know Tom can't wait to talk about that one. So we're going to get after it. We'll see where this goes.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Oh, gentlemen, what's going on?
Yo, just
Hey,
making
so as
what's up,
everybody can
fellas.
see, my camera issues have continued into this week. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on, so I apologize for that. Not that anybody wants to see my ugly smush, anyways. Guys, how you doing?
Actually, pretty good. Having a good day. It's been a good week. It was a good weekend. So no complaints from me.
Yeah,
Little Dick
absolutely.
Derek, what about
Had a
you,
good
bud?
Easter weekend. Spent some time with the family. Hopefully, you guys had a good Easter.
Saw the
Hippie
whole
Hop came
family.
to see you.
Saw the whole family. All those obligations are now handled. So smooth sailing from here.
Good. Hey, so let's talk about this Liv Morgan thing, right? So what had happened was, I guess apparently somebody had reached out to this poor young man. I'm not sure if he's a young man. I'm trying to find the article right now. Posing as Liv Morgan. Now, we've seen this as recently as November, December with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Where somebody reaches out to a fan in the universe posing to be said superstar and starts asking for money and things like that. Well, this account has gone as far as to get this poor person to sell their house, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, Liv Morgan has spoke out about this. She's like, listen, please don't do that. I would never ask anybody for money. That's not what this is. Everybody out there in the internet needs to stop. Guys, this is kind of absolutely correct. Like, it's getting a little out of control. 2 cases in like 6 or 8 months. That's a little too much.
So I just have to say, how stupid do you have to be to think it's just I have a hard time even feeling bad for these people because at what point do you believe that a person who is on television week in and week out for some reason needs your money for something and is in trouble, and despite you having never ever met this person before ever, they are reaching out to you specifically? I mean, this is obviously how televangelism works too, but this seems even more far-fetched. This is ridiculous. It's not even like, you're giving your money to God so that we'll pray for you. It's like, no. It's like you have to give your money to a WWE superstar who has a contract for worth more this year than you've made in your entire life, probably.
Absolutely.
I don't get it. Like, how dumb do you have to be to fall for that? And to go as far, if it's like, I need $20. Oh man, fake Seth Rollins scammed me out of $20.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Yeah. But to go to be so deep and to be so invested in it that I got to sell my house. I got to be honest. I don't know that I'd sell my house to for my wife. You know what I mean? I don't know that I'd do that for my father, let alone some person I've never met before.
Right. I mean, because, that's just silly, man. But at the same point in time, you've got to feel that these internet predators and these internet trolls or whatever you want to call it are out here, and they're preying on like weak-minded folks, right? And like,
the weakest minded, clearly.
Absolutely. And
And I mean,
obviously, it's a numbers game, guys. I mean, they got bots going out there just hitting up thousands of accounts sending the exact same message. You hit 200,000 people in 24 hours, you might get one back, maybe two, but unfortunately, the internet's a public area where you're going to have all kinds of shapes and sizes, as they might say, coming along in life. And some might not be as savvy to these types of things as others. I get what you're saying, Tom. We're all three, like obviously this is idiotic to us. But man,
I'm just saying at this
you hit
point,
up a couple 100,000 people, somebody gonna do it.
I'm sure. Yeah, look, I'm not disputing the numbers. The numbers are there. There's enough stupid people in this. How many people voted for Donald Trump in this last election? There's enough stupid people out there ready to get conned and willing to get conned. So I'm not.
Millions and millions of the Trump's fans.
Yeah, I'm sure whomever this guy was probably also voted for Donald Trump. I'm just saying.
I doubt this guy even has a voter's card. That just gives me even less faith.
He might. I mean, he might not. I mean, at least he can read, though, right? Like he
there
can
should
read.
Be a rule. If you fall for a Nigerian scam, you also have your voter's registration card.
You can't vote anymore
because look, you can't do basic intelligence here.
You can't. You're not. You failed the basic litmus test. Seth Rollins is somehow wearing both a suit and a tracksuit at the same time, like a tie with a tracksuit over it. Somebody must have lost his luggage. But anyway, and I mean, shout out to Liv Morgan for just being like, oh, I'm sick over this. Like, I would have never, like, don't do this. I would never ask you people. Like, clearly she never would. She's on television every single week. Like, I don't know if people think that, like, people on television, like, not only that, her name's not Liv Morgan either. It's some kind of Daddio, Gianna Daddio or something. But anyway, like, there's no universe where that makes sense, right?
Right.
There's no universe where that's a legitimate, like, that's never once happened in the history of the world. And like, I don't understand it. So internet wrestling community, God, be smarter, please.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that they've been targeted here so much lately. You never hear like, oh, well, Sean Penn reached out to me and he needs money, or Mel Gibson hit me up and now I'm selling my house.
Right? That doesn't happen that way.
Randomly, the past couple months, it's been a lot of the
That's what a good point. What a good point. I think that's man. There was a point in time. I hate to bring Donald Trump back into this, but Donald Trump, they're doing the battle of the billionaires. Vince McMahon said these people might be with you, but they're all idiots. Man, was he right? Like, jeez, art imitates reality. Man, was he right? I did not know how right Vince was. You thought he was just generating heat. He was spitting facts there, homies. He was spitting facts. And here we are in 2022 and late 2021, where we're just seeing it live. We're seeing it live. And
it's kind of crazy. And you know what else happened? That like on top of like the whole Seth Rollins thing, and then which obviously was kind of crazy in its own right, but this is wild that somebody would go as far to sell their house to save Liv Morgan. Like, I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't understand.
And how? Because to sell your house, you have to talk to other people, right? Like, this isn't you don't get to do this. Like, this isn't a thing.
Good point.
Like, this isn't a thing you do on your own, right? Like, this isn't like you go into the bank and you're like, I'd like to cash out my house, please. Like, you have to talk to like multiple people to do this. Like, there needs to be buyers, as a seller, you have to be the seller. If you're a co-owner, if you have a spouse or a co-signer or something, you have to like get that person to show up and sign. And like, there needs to be like an agent or something as well. And like, this agent also has to be like working with your best interests in mind as well. So I don't know if like he had told this agent, or, if this agent was in on it, or if this agent knew and was also stupid, or like, but somebody had to go through all the legal paperwork in order to sell a home.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
At
is
that point,
which
it's
is
not your responsibility though to tell them they're stupid. It's just
it,
hey,
it
you want
as
to sell your home? I'll do it.
if you go through an agent and like you get this story, you're supposed to tell them that though. Like this is like they can't they can't deny you in good faith, but they can tell you that this is like you shouldn't do this. Like this
Yeah,
is a mistake.
and not only that, like at what point does your morality take over where it's like, hey man, you're clearly getting fucked over here.
Yeah, like I don't. There's no pro wrestler in WWE that needs you to sell your house from their money. It's just not. It's just not real. And for whatever reason, it happens. So
Well,
yeah,
while this may have been covered, but why don't we flip it around here? What if this was just a big story to get Liv Morgan to buy this guy a double wide? Because she feels bad for him, and he lost his
Will you
house, and
stop?
he sold it so that she could have money and live in another country,
So what
far,
you're
far
saying is.
away.
So what you're saying
I
is.
also need you to buy my house in bitcoins.
So what you're saying is this is some sort of a double bamboozle.
It could have been a very
It's
legitimate scam.
a legitimate double bamboozle scamboozle.
Exactly. It gets deep, but it could have happened.
This is
I
literally.
have a double wide. I don't need her to buy me one, but if I was in need of a double wide, this would be a story that I could consider throwing
I think
out
we.
there in the
I think we need to
Twitterverse.
move on. This has already fallen into the stupid hole, and I'm starting to not be able to see the light anymore. And
I would like to point out that in our group chat over the past week that I got so off the rails at one point that Tom was in no mood for my bullshit and just stopped answering me.
Derek
So
Derek
your
was
hot
like,
takes are shit, and that was it.
Derek said something. Derek said something about I don't know what you guys see in Ruby Soho after she puts on like what is a legitimately fine match against a competitor whom I've never heard of before, and he's like, I don't know what you guys see in Ruby Soho. I don't think she's all that good, and I'm just like, oh, and he's like, oh, Tom didn't say anything about it. I'm like, Derek, I am making wedding soup, and I do not have time for your shitty wrestling takes right now. And that was that. And that's the end of it. And that's all she wrote because I don't get clearly like they've had to put her on the couch and or she's been in wrestling in, high school gymnasiums just waiting for somebody to tell her to do something on Dynamite. That's another thing I ought to bitch about. This is a good segue because I'm changing the subject now. We're talking about this. AEW, while I've ragged on their women's division hardcore, seems to not even acknowledge that it has a women's division much anymore. This is like straight up like mid 90s WCW women's division coverage, if anything, because literally AEW had 3 shows this week. Yep. So Dynamite, Rampage, and their Battle of the Belts on Saturday night, and there were 2 women's matches.
Yep.
One of them was Ruby Soho versus somebody I don't know, and the other one was Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose.
There was 3 women's matches.
What was the other one?
You had the was that Ruby Riott or Ruby Soho's match with against the twins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. So there's only 2. I was saying I only saw 2, and I watched everything. So there were 2 and 3 because there weren't any on Wednesday. There was a promo, but there wasn't a match. So, conversely, I want to say there were 12 men's matches or something like that. It was a lot, and a lot more men's segments. So it's like I don't understand. Like they have the talent now. Like there was a point in time where they didn't have the talent, and they're pushing all these women who were terrible. Like Sheeta got tons of time. So did, oh my God, Riho. I can't believe how much time Riho got. I can't remember the other little Japanese girl that was the size of Riho, but not as good. But it was like Sakazaki and Mika Sakazaki. Is that it?
No, you're talking about the Queen gimmick.
No.
That's Mercury gimmick.
No, that's that other chick. She's still there too, but she got tons of TV. She got TV time every week. Same thing with Leva Bates got TV time every week. We're talking about like sub-tier, way less good talent was getting buku TV time every week, and now they've got Jamie Hayter. They've got Britt Baker's a star now. They've got, Ruby Soho. They've got, and Ruby could literally be in a match every week. She should be in a feud. She is a week to week kind of like rough and tumble kind of wrestler. Like that's how you use her. You insert her into feuds like that. And there was something I shared it in the group chat. It was like 100 and some days since she'd been on TV.
I think it was like 119. I think is
it was
like
like 119 days since she'd been on TV. And it's like, well, what are they doing? They've got Toni Storm now. They got Ruby Soho. They got Britt Baker. They got Nyla Rose is finally coming around. Finally saw the best Nyla Rose match I've ever seen of any Nyla Rose match. That's not really
Shout out to Thunder Rosa.
For sure, but that's not a really high bar or anything. But it was TV ready. And I gotta say, they've really done, if they've done anybody right since they put the belt on Nyla and then Nyla lost the belt, they've at least booked Nyla very well. Her shortcomings have been in the ring, and that's more of her thing really than anybody else. But as far as booking goes, is booking her like a monster. They've done fantastic with that. She's cut great promos. They've stuck her with Vicky Guerrero, who's a heat magnet. I thought this barely built up feud with Thunder Rosa was better than anything they've built up in the women's division in a long time, or at least probably since they built it up Nyla Rose against Britt Baker.
Yeah, but they had still had some continuation on that whole Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa thing, because that's been kind of ongoing, like on and off, as a women's mid-card kind of feud. So that never really went away.
Yeah. No, you're right, but I'm just saying it's one of those things where it's like there's a sprinkle of it here, and then it doesn't get touched for a month, and then there's a sprinkle there, and it's like that's how they're booking these women's feuds, and it's like once a month we'll get to advance this feud, and it's like, is that how we do wrestling now? like why? It just feels like an afterthought, and I really feel like they've signed some actual good women's talent. Whereas, like WWE is like the women's roster in WWE right now is more or less like most of the best part of wrestling of WWE the right now.
Talent in WWE is killing it, guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's hard to watch. AEW has the talent, and I've seen that they know how to book wrestlers most of the time. It seems like there's so much like break in between that it's like nobody ever gets any momentum, nothing ever gets going. But anyway, that's just my complaint.
Yeah, there is. I completely agree with you. I think some of the things that you were saying though, with like Vicky Guerrero, man, they've completely wasted that. I get that she's a heat magnet, but she doesn't really say anything anymore. She doesn't really come out a lot in the promos. I mean,
they don't give her any time. There's no time.
Nyla Rose, I don't like her promos personally. And to see her in the ring, she looks like a fat kid running track. Like it's not good.
It's a lot better than it was. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's a lot better than it was. And it's literally 50% of what we have to go on this week as far as
fat
looking at
kid running track. Oh shit.
Anyway, so I think my point is legitimate. While I'm sitting here watching, I'll tell you what I don't like in WWE though is Liv Morgan with Rhea Ripley. Why do they hug so much? It's such a weird. I don't get it.
I was thinking the same whenever I saw the low thing with Sasha Banks and Naomi. Whenever like Sasha looks exactly like Naomi now on SmackDown. It's like it's weird. Just like
it does. It's pretty cool.
Looks exactly like Rhea Ripley.
It's pretty cool that Sasha and Naomi's gear matching is pretty cool. I will give them that. It's today, right now, at this exact moment, it looks cool. All right. That being said,
giant ass marble.
No, they took them out.
It's weird.
Nah, it's weird. It's fine. Anyway, what else are we talking about today?
So I want to talk about this. So I had this random distillery just walk into the shop the other day, right? They're like, "Hey, we want to set you up with our thingy thing here, And we started talking about whiskey and stuff, and they gave me like their premium whiskey. So I'm gonna check it out here, and
live on camera,
Pittsburgh original here.
Is that a vial? Like, is that how they give away samples?
Yeah, it's like 2 ounces.
I'll take him. I wouldn't hate somebody to show up and give me a vial of whiskey. You've got some of the.
I've never seen that.
You've got some of the coolest perks in the business, buddy.
Yeah, dude, no doubt, no doubt.
People randomly show up and give you whiskey.
I'll tell you what, that one beer rep stopped showing up with her craft beer every week, which has been really disappointing.
Because it wasn't any good, didn't you say it wasn't any good?
A couple of them were, but that's neither here nor there.
I wish Lagunitas would just show up at my house and give me beer.
Oh my
that'd be
God.
cool, right?
I'm glad that they don't show up to my house.
Really? They just show up with bangers. They're all bangers.
No, I know they're amazing. I love Lagunitas, but they're also higher in alcohol content, which makes me
that's what's good about them.
Different.
That's why you don't drink like 30 of them, dude. You drink like 4.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, that's plenty. 4 is plenty.
Yeah, that's the way.
Hey,
it's not that much higher. It's like
4, though.
I
know my limits here.
It's like 6.5%. Budweiser's like 5.5. It's like 1% more. It's
I don't
1%.
know, man. There's something in those hops. There's something in the hops. Lagunitas, little something something. That combination right there.
Little something something is 8% actually. So that's
okay. Well, then there you go. That's why.
That
is my only example of Lagunitas.
And it goes down real smooth. Which means
real smooth.
You could go down real smooth too.
Yeah, you could go down real smooth.
I'm gonna get on Tom's nerves after 4 of those. I guarantee you that.
Hey, so did you guys see that friend of the show Virgil was in the news this week?
I did, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, that's wild, dude. Like, I guess recently he's been diagnosed with dementia and he had like 2 massive strokes.
Yeah, that's awful.
So T's and P's go out to the meat sauce, man.
As I gotta say, sure. Virgil's the one pro wrestler I've had the most FaceTime with in my entire life. Just because he's at every con. He was at every Comic-Con. He was at every and like because like you could see him once every 3 months. There was never a line. You could literally just hang out with Virgil. And I would make it a point to spend 5 minutes with Virgil once every few months. And,
hey, I rode the tram with him.
You rode the tram with him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like we've all had a lot of FaceTime with Virgil. So to hear this is like it's I mean I've met Virgil.
It's funny when you're talking with him and he sets the timer on his phone, and then every 10 minutes he's like, "All right, that'll be $20 a month."
Yeah. He's funny. He's a funny guy. I'm just so I got to say, I think at this point in time, I've spent more time with Virgil than I have with like my father's aunts. So, like to put it into perspective, I feel like he's closer to a member of the family than my father's aunts were. Anyway, so So it's sad to hear that he's in poor health. I hope he bounces back, and I hope to see him again soon because he never failed to make me smile, and that's not something that I can say about a lot of people, but it's something I can say about Virgil. So
absolutely,
for sure.
Really enjoyed talking to him whenever I had the opportunity to do so. Hey, so guys, I don't know how involved you are in the forums. I know that like I send a lot of stuff your way and. Hey, what's this? Look at this. Check this out. Did anybody happen to see this shit with Mickie James this week?
I did not.
Yeah, the prom photo?
Yeah, the prom photo.
Do you have it? Can I see it?
I mean, I don't have it queued up. No.
Okay.
That
was a botch.
And
Sorry.
with my,
I can't believe I didn't send that to you guys. Okay. Yeah.
So, anyways, at a WrestleCon here, just WrestleMania weekend, she posed for a prom style photo with this guy, and
I did see this.
Leonard was his name.
I did see this.
Yeah.
So
good old Lenny.
The internet fucking went to work on this, and like they ate this fucking poor man alive, talking about how creepy he is and how this is unacceptable in 2022 that you could treat a female performer this way and blah 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 blah, right? So
Yeah, I saw one hell of a tirade about how she should be able to stand up for herself and blah blah blah. Tell them no, but go on, sir.
Mickey fucking James, okay, who we all know is not high on my list of likable people, right? Like, what's in the fucking bag, Mickey? Okay, what's in the bag? Anyways, she came to this guy's rescue on the old internet and basically said, "Hey, first of all, I'm a grown ass woman. Okay, I can say yes and I can say no to anything that I want, and if it comes down to it, I can defend myself." And I can take care of myself and I can do all of these things that I need to do. She said, actually, this was my idea to take this picture because Leonard had actually bought the dress that I was wearing for our Wrestlemania charity fundraising thing. And you guys don't understand how nice of a guy that he is and this and that and the other. I mean, while I do agree with some of the sentiments that probably shouldn't be doing that, but I applaud Mickey James for coming out and being like, "Hey man, this was okay, and y'all need to mind your fucking business."
Well, I mean, I think that's the theme of the theme of the last several years is everybody needs to relearn how to mind their own business, and I do think that while we want to make sure the vulnerable are protected, and we don't want to mind our business so far that it would just I think we went maybe over with the mind your business thing for a long time, and that resulted in a lot of domestic abuse. But I feel like we've overcorrected that at this point, where nobody can mind their own business now, and that seems to be the case. Especially with the case of Mickey James per se. She's not somebody who I don't think of as generally flanked by a 6 foot something Ripley man in Nick Adonis, who is her husband. Quite frankly, that's not a man that I'd want to fight with, or especially be a scrawny, creepy guy around, because his King Kong lariat looks like it hurts a lot. And not hugging anymore. Anyway, so it's just one of those things where it's just you're right. The internet, they need to mind their own business, and this is just another example of it. That being said, I don't know. I'd have to look at that picture again. I didn't think it was that bad.
No, I didn't think it was that bad either.
Also, because it's Mickey James. I don't know that. I mean, after having watched Mickey James, seeing that, it's that was probably her idea. Because that's.
She said it was absolutely her idea. So maybe we just all need to calm down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Derek, I mean, if you walked up to a booth and you were trying to get your little autograph book signed with your little pen, right? Oh, Mickey James, you want to sign my book for me right here? Right? And she's like, "Oh yeah, sweetie, let's take a prom picture. You do
it. In a heartbeat. Sure.
Yeah. I would do whatever Mickey James told me to do.
Yeah, I would.
Sure.
I don't care.
Well, she could probably beat me up.
That'd be a nice cherry on top of my weekend event. That's all that would be.
And here's the other thing too. If the internet decided to roast me for it, I'd never find out.
That's fair.
I'd never find out.
So that's fair. Hey, so one thing I am looking forward to talking about here. Okay. Guys, guess what Wednesday is?
Dynamite in Pittsburgh.
You know what time it is.
Ooh, okay. So all right, so I got a story. Actually, real quick before we get into this, my buddy Brian, who sells me beer, who works at the beer distributor. We always chat wrestling. So I walked in, and he goes, "Don't get your beer yet. I need to talk to you." All right, what's up? He's like, "I'm going to Dynamite on Wednesday, but I don't have cable anymore, and I don't have a way to stream it, so I've missed the last 2 months of AEW other than the pay-per-view." And I'm like, "Well, let me catch you up." And so I rambled on for about 10 minutes as to what was going on. And he knows that Samoa Joe's there. He knows that some of that was going on. And he's like, "But what should I expect?" And I'm like, expect Wardlow to pick on MJF now, because MJF is no longer doing anything with CM Punk. So expect that to be a big floating theme and to get a good bit of time. and expect, just some, with no Cody, don't expect any like middle of the 20 minutes of just like suck the air out of a building with somebody bellowing on about legacy and whatever else. So it's really
WWE fans are eating that shit up, by the way.
they really are. But Seth Rollins keeps popping out to like interject. So it's not been bad, truth be told. And they keep doing it on Raw, which literally has infinite time as far as
it needs something to fill the air with.
Exactly. Raw is infinitely long. It routinely goes like to 11:15 and it starts at 8. So like whatever. It doesn't matter if he does it on Raw because like it's either that or we're gonna watch more HelloFresh commercials. But so I went through this with him and he's like, well, where are you guys sitting? And I'm like, section 101. He's like, I'm in 104. So we're gonna be like looking at each other across the rampways. So
cool.
Hopefully we run into Brian. That'd be fun.
That'd be good. So Derek, what about you, bud? You looking forward to Wednesday?
Nah, I'm not.
Nah, not at all. You fucking mark.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. 2 things. 1, Hook.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
We're gonna get to see some Hook. That's gonna be cool. Yep.
2, I'm looking forward to watching Wardlow kill the Butcher. I think this is the funniest storyline in wrestling ever. The Butcher has been a jobber for 2 years. This man has literally been Al Snow for he's been for 2 years, and what
does everybody want?
Exactly. They give him 1 squash match, and now it's like, oh god, Wardlow should watch out. Like this guy has won 4 matches in his AEW career. Like this guy's gonna get Wardlow's gonna smash this dude, and mostly just yell at MJF. I'm sure like MJF will have jabronis come out, and Wardlow's gonna smash them too. We're gonna watch Wardlow kill some people, and I
think that's gonna be fun.
I'm excited for nothing makes me happier than watching a big man just smash a bunch of people. This is why I love Braun Strowman so much, because like he would hit dudes with other dudes. I hope if Wardlow pulls that out and like power bombs some like the Blade onto the Butcher and like just chucks dudes into I will pop so hard. That will be the hardest you boys have ever seen me pop for anything because I love it. And that's what I'm looking for. I will be disappointed if Wardlow does not hit a dude with another dude.
Hey,
Derek, I'm excited that we're going to get to see some CM Punk in action too, fellas. We didn't get to see that last time. It was right before the Chicago show, before he debuted. It was. So that's going to be something new for us. That'd be nice.
And against Dustin, so it'll be CM Punk speed.
Yeah, that'd be a good match. That has potential to be a 25-minute banger.
It does. We may need to go get beers before that match, though.
Yeah. That 1,000,000% has the potential to be a 25-minute banger. Derek, what about Andrade?
Do me a favor this time. What's that?
Do you favor what?
Whenever we go to the stands where the merch stands, just make sure I buy all the shit first before I have to go through halfway through the show and then go buy more shit. Come back with 6 bags and 2 beers.
Are you saying that we should? I really think we need to limit you, babysit you, and be like, do not buy those VHS tapes. Put those back.
I'm just gonna hand over the debit card before I go.
Put those back.
God.
Put that.
I'm missing one pay-per-view at this point. That's all. So maybe 2.
Hopefully you can complete your collection, and that's all that you buy.
You can buy one DVD.
Money one day.
You'll be excited when I'm bringing my DMD towel, or at least I'm going to try to bring my DMD.
I'm planning on bringing mine as well.
Hell yeah, fellas! I didn't even think about that. That's cool.
I'm sure they'll be on sale. You could buy another one for $15 if you so desire.
Well, I might,
Yeah, but he has the other one that's got her face on it.
Yeah, I've got the red one too. I've got both.
The yellow one's where it's at.
Mark.
Yeah,
I'm a big
yellow one's where it's at.
Absolutely.
There's like Mark,
she's gonna
and
be
then
there
there's me.
She's going to be there in an Owen Hart qualifying match.
She hasn't been in action
Yes.
since she lost the title because they've only put on like 5 women's matches since that happened. So
Well, she was due for a little bit of time off, huh?
sure, I mean she's got teeth to fix, like not her own but other people's.
And then we're gonna get Kyle O'Reilly versus Jungle Boy, in an Owen Hart qualifier match. Yes, I'm aware that that's New Kids on the Block. I just
that was the
funny
right stuff
You
right
mean
there, buddy.
oh.
So, and then I've got to assume that Andrade versus Darby Allin in a coffin match is going to be the main event.
It has to be, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
man, we're getting a coffin match. We're getting a fucking coffin match, boys.
Have we had a coffin match yet in AEW?
Nope.
Yes.
Not that I know of. Have we?
Yes. Remember Darby did the
remember.
coffin drop through the coffin?
That's right. Who was that with?
I don't remember.
Was it
But I'm
Miro?
Nuts.
It was Miro. Was it Miro?
I'm
I think
going
it
to
was Miro.
assume that it was probably Team Taz.
I want to say it was Miro.
Remember, they were in that whole thing with Taz.
They were, but I still feel like it was Miro. Unless I'm thinking of
since we're
unless I'm
seeing
thinking of
Darby,
him with
this
The
means we're going to
Undertaker.
see Sting, which is also very cool.
Well, we saw Darby and Sting last time.
Yeah, we saw
They
last
I know,
came
but
out.
like we get to do it again. Maybe they'll do the snow and it'll be fun. And
Listen, I just
You
want
know,
to take in a sign that
stuff.
says I'm only here to sing Judas.
I don't know that we're going to see Chris Jericho. He's not on the
I
card.
don't know that we're going to see any signs
Yeah.
either because AEW has just placed a ban on fan signs in the crowd.
Oh, there were some good
Why?
ones because there were some good ones this past week that were a little bit inflammatory to conservatism. Well, go ahead,
Are you
Walt. I know.
serious?
Oh, yeah, well,
Explain. Yeah.
lay
I
it-
don't know
lay it
anything
down.
about this.
Lay it down. Well, one of them, the best one I saw, said pro-life or no, pro-choice, pro something else, pro wrestling.
And then there was another one that said, "Stop forcing motherhood."
yeah. It was
And
pro.
that is the one that is kind of
No, you're right. Because the flip side of that it said
Are they in Texas? Were they in Texas? Well,
They
yeah, because
were
it was
in
Texas
Texas.
Deathmatch.
they
Pro
were-
choice,
That's what this is
pro-abortion.
about. Yes.
Pro-choice, pro-abortion, pro-wrestling is what it said.
Yep. And then the other side was stop forcing motherhood.
Yeah. So that was
Um,
good.
Well,
It
I
also
can't argue with
said
them personally.
there was also
I
one
agree.
that said Kingdom Hearts is not that hard, or it's not that difficult.
Those are the ones I love. When it's like Final Fantasy VII was the worst Final Fantasy. Fight me.
Was that the hey Tom, was that the same guy that held the sign that said I beat Elden Ring?
Yeah, it was the same guy. I think.
That's great. I love those ones.
So
I
mean,
didn't.
But
I
you know
did
what?
not
I have
beat
no
Elden
problems
Ring.
with that. I think they should definitely allow this. This is ridiculous. I don't give a fuck that you go against the government in that particular state where you're
I don't even think
advertising.
it's
So
about
what?
that, bud. It's listen. At the end of the day, it all comes down to 2 C's: cash and creative. And those types of signage in your crowd is definitely going to have some impact on the cash flow because some of them advertisers might have been pissed off. The
Well-
network might have been pissed off. So this is purely a business move. This
Yeah,
is
the
all about
owner-
protecting capital.
The owner of the arena
hate
might have
business.
been pissed off.
So there's all kinds of things that are in play here that are not doesn't have anything to do with your right as a fan to free speech, and it's got everything to do with Tony Khan's right as a businessman to shake George Washington's hand.
That being said, I endorse every one of those messages wholeheartedly.
Agreed.
Those are endorsed by Tom, and if you can't tell,
Those views are endorsed by One Fall WrestleCast.
Tom has risen.
Exactly. He has. I saw it.
I saw
I didn't even have to die first.
You didn't even move any rocks or anything. You
I
just
did
showed
nothing.
up.
I just showed up.
Here
I
we
just
go.
showed.
Motherfucker over here eating fish and bread and was like, "What's up? It's 8 o'clock. Let's go."
Listen, the cancel culture. is just sitting there, just
Cancel me.
Oh,
I-
buddy,
just like
licking their chops.
they did whenever Adam Hangman Page put a crown of barbed wire on Adam Cole's
Oh my
head
God, I
on
loved
Good
it.
Friday.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I
loved
pointed
it.
that out in the moment and was
Oh.
like, "Ooh, that's gonna be a
Oh, I
problem."
loved it. That was the finish of the match. He put the crown of barbed wire on his head.
It was.
Dead eye through the table. That was, man. I got to point out that I think I said this in the chat. Adam Cole has single-handedly put Hangman Adam Page's title run ahead of Kenny Omega's. At this point, maybe ahead of Moxley's, because Moxley's was not in front of a crowd. Like Moxley's was pretty, like there was no crowd involved. But
still not
it's a
sold.
huge dud.
I'm not sold that it's ahead of Moxley's, but it's certainly ahead
I'm not
of.
sold on Adam Page's title reign in general. Like I'm still.
I'm sold on the last feud though. Holy, that may be the
I
best.
really
feud.
thought though that they were going to drop it to Adam Cole just because Hangman
two
has
missed
been so
opportunities as far as
lackluster.
I'm concerned.
I mean, maybe you're right, and I'm not saying that like that's not right, but man, was that? Oh man, that was those were two bangers. Like once I got over the fact that like Adam Cole didn't win, and like that's what I preferred. But man, were those good. That being said, I mean, it doesn't look like we're going to see either of those guys this week. So,
well, I mean, there is still a taping of Rampage that's going to be on before Dynamite.
That's a good point. So we might see him.
We might, we might get to see the Dark Knight of Dumbledore, which I'm really hoping for.
from Dumbledore.
Yo, can we make that sign? I don't know how to spell Dumbledore, but we'll figure it out. We got to make that sign.
I'm really
I think I can spell it.
Really looking forward to possibly getting to see the House of Black. I think that would be a lot of fun. Man, I don't know. Like, I'm super excited for Wednesday.
Yeah.
I've not been this excited for a wrestling show in a long time. Like I was really unsure going to AEW when we went the first time, like what that was going to be like, and when we went to Raw, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to Raw. We're going to get to hang out. That'll be fun.
It was fun because we got to hang out, but
I'm real excited to go to this wrestling show. And like, I'm really looking forward to it. And I really, really hope that I don't get let down. Regardless, the fan experience is going to be great, right? Like, we already know that.
Yeah.
The fan experience is going to
The in
be
between
phenomenal.
segments are so good. Yeah.
Because you buy into
so
everything, whether you sit at like some of the shit that like I'll sit here and be like, dude, this is so dumb. Like, you're going to buy into it when you're in that atmosphere. You can't help it. Derek did it with Seth Rollins. You know what I'm saying?
Seth Rollins, he's that guy.
I danced around like an idiot. I had like 3 chairs empty beside me, so I had some room.
Seth Rollins is man of the people, though. So that's
absolutely
man of the people.
So I mean, it's gonna be a good time. I'm really interested to see what Tony Khan's big announcement is. A lot of people seem to think it's going to be an
huge announcement. Well,
AEW New Japan Super Show, which to me doesn't really fucking give me any willies in my giddy up, so to speak. Like,
no, mine neither. I think it's either that. I've also heard inklings of they're going to announce that HBO Max deal, so that maybe we can watch the pay-per-views on HBO Max.
That's been a thing though for quite a few months now.
I'm just saying that would be, truth be told, in the long term. I don't know that that's like the best announcement to be there live for necessarily.
Yeah, because TK doesn't do, like, we'll see him before the show. We may not see him before the show, though, because he's going to be in the ring. So, like, he doesn't just book himself into TV time. So that's why, like, this is kind of intriguing. It's like, what's this going to be about? And if it's a New Japan thing, like, okay, cool. Like, you're kind of already doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Minoru Suzuki on 5-6 times.
Yeah, Minoru Suzuki's cool and all, but I tell you what, for one thing, if it is
him versus Joe is so good. Have we talked about? Has that been a thing? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we're going to
Suzuki
talk about
versus
this week,
Joe.
I'm sure.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Huh.
If
you haven't already guessed, that's my match of the week.
Tickle the pickle.
Oh!
If it's not HBO Max,
I see what you're doing here.
It might be John Moxley and Tanahashi.
I see what you're doing here.
They're kind of building to that.
I see what you're doing here. Hey, Derek, how's it feel?
What?
Dude, Tom's just been like straight fucking Derek'ing you all fucking episode. How's that feel?
Oh, I don't know. I just talked through it.
Yeah, well, that makes for great podcasting.
Oh, is that what I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Oh!
It only took a
I'm
year and a
sorry.
half. It only took a year and a half for you to realize it. You've actually gotten better. That's the best part about it.
Like better at doing it
I
or
spent
better about
No, like better at not doing it, and it's just still so much.
I spent 6 months telling Walt, mute him, mute him, mute him, mute him.
Did you really?
Yes! He muted you a lot of times.
Oh my god, fuckers.
Dude, you deserved every bit of it.
Oh shit! This has been like I've been sitting here for the last fucking 30 minutes. Like, man, Derek's like actually got some shit, and Tom's just like, "Fuck you, Derek." And then like it started to get more and more ridiculous, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. That's great."
I feel like
Great.
I'm straight up on Maury right now. Like I just found out I'm not the
Boo.
father, and everybody's pissed off at me.
Oh shit, that's great. Anyways, fucking, we love you,
All
bud.
right, I'll sit. Yep.
Oh, now look, now he's gonna shut down. He's done.
Nothing.
We just fucked
I
him
got
up.
nothing.
I don't want to shut him down. I just
Let me know
wanted
when
to-
it's my time to talk, and I'll go. Just
You
let me
Walt,
know.
I didn't want you to point it out. I just wanted you to let me do it for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I just
Hey.
kept going. I had no idea.
Hey, so actually, Derek, this one is for you. Hey, Matt Jackson said he doesn't know how many more big time matches he's gonna have left. Like, what exactly does that mean?
Well, buddy, the style he wrestles, I mean, I could kind of understand that. He is the older of the two brothers. He might be looking to go towards more of a Cody Rhodes. I'm never going to challenge for this title, executive vice president type of situation. Now, earlier this week, I did see where Cody had an interview saying, I basically I booked myself into a corner. That was an immature move on my part. I'm 33 years old, and I'm in the prime of my career. So I'm not exactly certain how old Matt is at this point, but I know he is the older of the two. And maybe he's just feeling a little low point in his career. You know, maybe he needs a little break to get some spark back.
I think he's like 37, 38. Like I want to say he was like an 84, 83 baby.
I'm Googling this man right now.
Okay.
No, man, but I completely
Matt's 37. You're right.
So 84. But I completely agree with you. The match, the performance style, right? Like the type of match that they put on with their big high spots and silliness, and there is a shelf life on that type of performer. And
Is there though? How old are the Hardys? Hardys are
but,
pushing 50.
I mean, dude, a lot of people
I mean,
are saying
that's a
Jeff's
good point,
fucking hurting people, pal. Like,
How about AJ
I mean,
Styles?
Jeff's
He's in
definitely
his
hurting.
40s, but I get what you're saying.
Jeff's definitely.
It's
hurting
different
people.
for everybody.
Jeff Swanton is Jeff just lands on you now.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
catch me with your gut. You better be soft.
But there's
Hard.
since he's been in AEW, there's been a lot of chatter about his in-ring work and he's just out there fucking hurting people.
Yeah. He was hurting people in WWE too. He was a veteran, so they just took the potatoes and went with it. They ate the black eye and put some makeup on it and rubbed some spit into it and it was fine.
We'll have to keep our eyes on that one. But no, man, but I do. Like I think that there's definitely a shelf life on that type of, I mean, even look at Matt, dude, he can't even walk from so many leg drops like off the top rope, and some of these wild table spots and ladder spots and shit. Like, he walks with a hitch. You know what I mean? Like that whole right side's just probably just chipped ham at this point.
It's terribly bow-legged. I feel bad for the guy.
I feel like broken Matt Hardy is not so. It's more literal than it is like a character. It's like, well, I'm a bit broken actually. Like literally. Like
yes.
This is all. Like you said, it's chipped ham.
Yeah.
So I feel you.
But you know what? Like I'm into it. Like if he decides that it's getting close and it's time, um, it's
I
good,
mean,
man. You
he,
know,
he didn't
it's
want to. He didn't want to have to walk like Matt Hardy for the rest of his
yeah.
life. So
I mean, it's sad from the standpoint that the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team in the history of AEW.
that's all right. There's enough good fucking talent that they don't need to.
Hey, so did you see Kurt Angle this week too? Um,
He's going to be
he's
on Table for Three again too.
oh really? They're bringing
With
that show
Alpha,
back. I
yeah,
love
they
that
are.
show.
Him with Alpha Academy actually.
That's gonna be dope.
And I'm real excited. I saw it before he got on. I was like, oh, I want to watch that.
So he did an
Nice. I
interview with
enjoy
What Culture, and he said, "I like where the business is headed. I just wish they would pull it back a little bit, slow down, and take their time in the matches, rather than it being a spot fest." Man, I really feel like that's a backhanded compliment.
But he's right. It's hard. I mean, you're right, but he's right.
Oh yeah,
So it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to be like that's a backhanded compliment, but also be like Kurt's right. Like he's like the business is in a good place in that there is just so much. There's so many places to work. There's so much TV time, so much internet time. You can get matches, and truth be told, you tear a house down somewhere, you're gonna get noticed. It's not like I got to work my way up the ranks and put the ring together and do this, that, and the other. It's a matter of just like, look, I got to prove that I'm the best that there fucking is, and that's gonna really, and it really has like the quality of in-ring work has just continued to go up and up and up and up and up in all companies, WWE, AEW, GCW. Now we got Ring of Honor coming back, but even Ring of Honor's their work rate was going up. Impact's work rate, it's a rising tide raises all ships, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing all ships rise. Is it a little spot festy because there are so many people trying to grab that ring? Absolutely, and I think that's really just a sign of what do I do? How do I get over? How do I take it to the next level? Because there's so much good talent out there. How do I take it to the next level? And we saw a lot of that too during the Attitude Era too. It wasn't spot fests for like in a gymnastics sense. It was, what can I get away with on television? But I feel like, AEW kind of lets a lot of that get away too with, I bitched about it with Wheeler Yuta last week. The man was squirting blood above, like from two arteries above his eye. It's like, if it's not a triple flippy do from the top, I'm going to bleed like a stuck pig and still put on a hell of a match. And, just get all the blood out and, several pints of it and just make a mess with my face.
This motherfucker said double flippy do.
Double flippy do. So that's what it is. So it's either bleed to death or double flippy do. And there's a little bit of that. And I just think it's sort of like, well, how do I get an edge? How do I, it worked with Edge and Christian and the Dudleys and the Hardy Boys back in the day. But those guys all have the scars to show for it. And I think this is just a sort of continuation of that. So while yes, is a little bit of a spot fest? Yeah, sometimes. But I think you've got a lot of really good technical wrestling going on as well. There's a lot of guys who are really getting over with their promo. MJF doesn't do that. He's getting over like crazy. He puts on great matches every time he gets in the ring.
Good old JR seems to think he's going to be the world champion by year's end.
That wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if he's the one to dethrone Adam Page. And truth be told, you won't hear me be like, this isn't right. I wouldn't say that. That would be, especially if they take the care with that program as they have with everything else they've done with MJF, that'll be the best program of the year for sure.
Absolutely.
I think the only thing holding. Go ahead, Walt.
No, bud, go ahead. You just been sitting over there deflated since I fucking.
No. I was just gonna say that I think the only thing holding MJF back at this point is, and I'm gonna pull from my Bruce Pritchard isms here, that he doesn't need the belt. He can easily get over on his own merit.
See, here's where I think that's
the belt needs him.
He's so.
Here's where I think here's where I think Bruce Pritchard's an idiot. If he's a big thing, The belt needs him. And Walt's right that you need to put the belt on him. Oh, he doesn't need a belt because they said that with Braun Strowman too. That's absolute utter horseshit. That's what a man who has booked too much wrestling. There's an episode of Ted Lasso where Ted Lasso he keeps saying words and then words stop having meaning, and he's like free. That's the point. It's like Bruce Pritchard talks so much about wrestling and sees so much wrestling that like wrestling stops having meaning to him. Nobody remembers people who aren't champions ever.
I don't know, fellas. I don't.
Bullshit.
I don't really have.
Would you remember? Would you remember Hulk?
That's great.
Would you remember? Would anybody think anything of Hulk Hogan if he didn't have all those title reigns? If he wasn't a champion?
I mean, Hulkamania did.
Hulkamania happened while he had the belt on him because he was telling kids to say their prayers and eat their Wheaties. And
I think
be over.
that was take their vitamins.
I don't think that you can lump that into the same conversation because I think that Hulk Hogan needed the WWF championship as much as the WWF needed Hulk Hogan to be the WWF champion.
Sure.
In a time whenever the WWF had all the chips on the table, Hulk Hogan was the guy they were hitching their wagon to. And they needed each other to make that happen.
All right. So let me give you a different.
That was a perfect storm. That's a tear. You cannot use that as an example.
All right. Let me give you a different example. Triple H.
Ooh.
With Triple H
needed the belt.
Triple H needs the belt.
I don't give a shit about Triple H if he doesn't make his moves in the company, get with the boss's daughter, get with DX. I mean, there were so many perfect storm things that happened with
14-time world everything. Think about those WrestleMania entrances.
Now,
think
how
about
many
those WrestleMania main events?
World championships did you really want, though, Tom? Could you have shaved off
Triple H? Not for the era. No, not for the era.
Yeah.
Not for the era.
Yeah.
No,
there was too many. Nah, I'd be good to shave a few off. I think you're full of shit. And it's fine because you've only recently risen, so I'm sure your brain's a little scattered still.
I've got one.
And that makes sense.
I've got one.
Push that rock.
I've got one for you. You guys, got a good one for you. Chris Jericho.
Exactly. How he needed those title reigns, and those title reigns needed him. And MJF is on this trajectory, right? He's on the Chris Jericho, Triple H trajectory of greatness, right? Because he can talk, he can deliver on a storyline, even if it's bullshit. Deliver every time. And we can look back and like, well, that wasn't as strong. But did he suck? No. And he's a guy that you want. Look, in a main event title picture, you need the main event guy. He's a main event guy. He's a top tier guy. And where is your title? Where should your title be? If your title is worth a shit, where should your title be? In the main fucking event. Okay? MJF is a main event guy.
Yeah,
MJF is going to need that title. MJF should be in the main event. I mean, he's already been. And I think when they put him in the main event and when they put that title on him in a main event, that's going to be a big deal. And that's going to happen until Wardlow takes it off.
Is it bad for me to think that I feel that it's going to do more for the title than the participant himself, a la MJF?
Why do we?
I really do think that.
Why do we do this all the time? I literally said that 15 minutes ago. For you to just circle all the way around to come back right
it's because he doesn't listen.
What I said to start this.
He's just listening for a break in conversation. But not really.
I literally said he doesn't need the belt needs him. You argued it. Tom laid some shit out.
That was a deep
counter argued it and then said what I said originally.
You'll be a fantastic politician. Except that they'll be like, I said that. Shut up. Put your hat on.
I think I'm gonna,
dummy.
I'm gonna move to the production team.
There you go.
God.
Get him in the truck.
goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start doing vignettes and
Vignette. I'm done. I'm done. I'm
Did he
done.
call them vignettes?
I'm
He called
done.
them vignettes.
You
Go
did
ahead.
that on purpose.
I don't know how
move
to
on.
pronounce your fancy words, fucker.
Let's move on, please.
Oh my
Vignettes.
god, dude.
I need to go put a vignette together, actually.
Whoa. That
No, I'm just
sounded
kidding.
sounded
I'm about to
naughty.
be fired.
What?
Hashtag Fire Derek is now trending. So Triple H did a little interview this week. I don't remember what show it was, but he did a podcast and he was asked about what he thought about all of his black and gold NXT talent going over to AEW. Now, I read the transcript of this answer, and while it is very politically correct, it is very much one of like, those are my boys, right? He said, hey man, like, those guys came to us at a time when we were trying to establish ourselves as a viable brand within the sports entertainment industry, blah 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 blah. They helped build what we had, wouldn't be there without them, and I'm absolutely happy for them. Well, what about them flopping on the main roster after having so much success with you? Well, my creative and Vince's creative don't always necessarily have to agree, blah, 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 blah. I'm not Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon isn't me. So, like, I book a show a certain way. He books a show a different way. I can't give any credence or anything to their failures on the main roster. As far as them being in AEW, I'm happy for them. It's absolutely fantastic. I still talk to a lot of those guys today, and I'm very proud of them, blah, blah. I'm glad they've got a gig. Derek, Bud, like, I know that like you were sipping the conspiracy theory Kool-Aid with the old Vince McMahon and Triple H thing for a while. What's your take on this?
I mean, I'm happy that he's happy for them, and that's how it should be. As with anyone who leaves your current profession to move on to supposedly greener pastures, dude, I'm nothing but happy for anybody. I don't give a shit. That's up to you. Now, does he probably have? Not even probably. Is he holding back some feelings about the whole NXT 2.0 transition that went down and how his many of his talents that moved up to the main roster were, of course, transitioned into something different than what they were brought up to do? There's no way he's not. That's your father-in-law. It's the guy that signs your fucking paychecks. What are you supposed to say? And I don't care that you are family. You're going to get a little bit of flack if you go against La Familia. But I'm glad to hear that, they still have contact with him, and I'm sure some of them will come back eventually. And that's how he's looking at it is, down the road, you're going to pick up some more pieces along the way, and hopefully you come back and make us some money. That's what we're hoping. We invested money in you. Maybe you go off and make a little bit more of a name for yourself, just like Cody Rhodes did. And then you come back and now, just like Drew McIntyre, you might get a push. But, it's all a close-knit business. Of course he's going to be happy for them. But I truly think, guys, deep down to circle back, he has got to be, like, I feel like I could have done a little bit better if I was booking him because I knew what I was bringing to the table. Vince,
All right, I'm going to stop you there.
as we all know,
I'm going to stop you there. All right. So I think that while I agree with what you're saying, where you're like, well, you're kind of playing the line here, and I think that's disingenuous, to say the least. I think that Vince's creative is Bruce Pritchard, right? At this point, and I think that it's easy to say that Bruce Pritchard is he's not great. He's really not, and it's hard to It's hard to say that he is. And then, I feel like Vince gives Bruce like a lot of like leeway, and then Bruce screws up a lot. And Bruce tends to screw up with things that are not like on its face, like the stuff that's deeper, the work rate type stuff, like the stuff that's deeper. Bruce Pritchard is like, he's not a work rate guy. Like it needs to be kind of like on the surface, a little bit stupid. And I'm not saying that that's not something that's fine. There's clearly a mark for that in WWE, only because Bruce Pritchard has been booking shit for so long. But it's always a little bit stupid, and that's really what it was. And I think what Triple H tried to do with NXT was to try to like sort of give it that legitimate, like that little bit of legitimacy, that legitimate work rate, those legitimate guys who could really work, those guys who could really put on the good matches. And while, there's guys who have come through that and, with some Triple H tutelage, think guys like Seth Rollins, particularly, who had big programs with Triple H when he was still sort of a part-time talent. Dolph Ziggler, who's Finn Balor, guys like that who are still around, who are top tier work rate guys, but can also talk, can also do like the guys that got over while Triple H was still sort of a part-time talent, but still a bug in Vince. It wasn't just a Bruce Pritchard. There was a Triple H bug in Vince's ear. The Triple H bug got sick, and that bug was no longer there. So, that Bruce bug was all that was left. And I feel like, while we saw there were some lulls, but at the same time, it was like there was a big dip. And then that work rate stuff is gone. It's not. I mean, it's still around a little bit, but it's not to the level that it was. So we've sort of fallen back into the full-on Bruce Pritchard era, which I'm not saying is bad or has produced bad television. It has not. And there's more voices involved in things like SmackDown per se, but you can tell what's very baseline Bruce Pritchard, and particularly in new talent. I will point out one of the most glaring examples is Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza are now Humberto and Angel, and their booking is all over the place. And I'm going to say that's Bruce Pritchard's fault. Bruce Pritchard's fault. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, I agree with what both of you guys are saying, but at the end of the day, this was a fucking shitbag PC canned response when you had an opportunity to fucking speak to it one way or another. Whenever everybody is looking at the wrestling business with more and more real eyes every single day, this was a canned response, and quite honestly, fucking giant waste of fucking time. I'm glad that you brought up.
It's never going to happen. He's got millions of dollars on the fucking line.
I mean, it was a canned response because there's millions of dollars on the line. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, Tom, you brought up fucking Humberto and Angel Garza, right? Like they're not letting people use their names anymore coming into NXT and shit. Like they're changing everybody's fucking names. To circle back to what you were saying earlier, Derek, talking about Cody Rhodes coming back, go out and make a name for themselves. That's bullshit. Vince doesn't want you to go out and make a name for yourself because he's going to bring you back in. He's going to change your fucking name anyway so he can make some money off of it. That's what the that's 100% what this is.
No.
He changed Casey Catanzaro's name to Katana Blade for like 15 minutes and then was like, yeah, no, the internet fucking just destroyed this. We're just going to leave her Casey Catanzaro until we can figure out something better. Like,
she's going to continue to be Casey Catanzaro because she's not main level talent.
But Katana Blade was actually, for all people that have been renamed, that's probably the best rename period of anybody. Yeah. That's the best
cool
one.
Rename. But guys, if you're that over, then you don't get to have a rename whenever you come back because you are who you fucking are.
Man, that's
you
wild.
Just sit there and sigh.
This is
Samoa
wild.
Joe, AJ Styles. What do you want? Who else do you want?
Wow.
You think Tommaso Ciampa's going to come up to the main talent and be
I do.
Fucking
No, they're not.
Cutlery?
They're not. Because WWE is not renaming it, at least not yet.
Maybe it'll just be Ciampa.
Yeah, they're probably
going to trademark that.
They're probably going to rename him Ciampa, actually. But they may spell it. They may be Chomp, Chompa,
Champions.
Ciampa. But they rebranded Elias again. He's Ezekiel.
Yeah. No, that's not Ezekiel. That's Elias.
It's a lot, dude. They just did a whole Kevin Owens
I've
show
seen
about it, and they just did it. Like this is actually like break the third wall, the best little segment feud thing they're doing right now with all the rename gimmick stuff. Like this is actually brilliant. I'm gonna say
Yes.
Paul Heyman. I'm gonna say Paul Heyman did this.
That could be.
It's actually really funny. But anyway, yeah. No, I mean it is what it is. I feel like there was something magic going on back in 2017, 2018. There really was.
Now they're all in AEW.
And now they're all in AEW. But now there's magic happening there. So it's cool. I'll just watch on Wednesday too. And you know what? Tuesdays aren't bad. They're not as good as they were in 2017, 2018. But you know what? They ain't bad either. So it's good. There's more wrestling going on. And we'll see where it goes. But
so real quick, and then we'll get into match of the week. You know who doesn't have real wrestling going on, more wrestling going on? Alexa Bliss. I guess apparently, like, everybody's making a big deal about her, like, not being on TV, right? And I mean, she did just get married, but there is a rumor running around that Creative doesn't have anything for her. Wow, man, I don't know what to do with this. You know what? Actually, I do have an opinion on this now that I start talking about it out loud. You know, when she was in the Elimination Chamber, like she came out of the pod, and like we were all like, finally, man, she looks small,
yeah,
compared to like even Liv Morgan. So that could be part of the issue.
It could be
her absence from television. Now that I'm saying that out loud.
So I agree, and I think there's certainly a level of. There was a point in time where she was a bodybuilder, and I know she's had struggles with eating disorders and what have you, but she looks healthy as far as all that's concerned. But I don't know that she looks. It's probably difficult for her to maintain, especially if you're not on the road working. It's probably difficult for her to maintain a wrestling physique because it's different than a bodybuilder physique. It's different than you need a little more meat on your bones because you have to like be able to bounce. And, even professional bodybuilders have spoken about this. Like when they get so lean that like, for competitions and stuff, so you can see all the definition, like it hurts to walk because you're walking on sinew. You're not walking like even the fat content in the base of your feet. I've never had that problem. I don't know what that feels like, but, it seems to me like she's sort of in regular gorgeous woman weight status area, which is maybe not, hey, I'm going to throw you off the top rope and not hurt you. There's a potential for that. And I could, she's not a big competitor to begin with. I think she's like 5'1" or 5'2". Like she's not a big competitor to begin with. And the women's roster in her absence has gotten considerably bigger. Liv Morgan used to be sort of the standard of like, the size of opponents she would face for the most part. Like Charlotte was an Amazon. But now it's like we got Rhea Ripley. There's Doudrop. There would have been Toni Storm who's taller. Anyway, there's still Charlotte. Ronda Rousey's back.
She's tiny.
That's a good point. And Bailey's coming. Bailey's 5'5", 5'6". Bailey should be back soon. So are they waiting for Asuka to be healthy? Maybe they put them back in a thing together. I don't know. It's a hard way to go. Also, she may have already had the time put in. She may have said, hey, I'm getting married in April and I'm going to be on my honeymoon through the end of April. And they were like, well, we'll air these vignettes, but like maybe something fell through. It's hard to say, I think
buy that.
Well, look, I think it's stupid to not have something for her because she's such a talented competitor. She's such a talent, period. She can get anything over. And I think where they were going, particularly with these backstage vignettes and what have you, was kind of interesting and it was kind of good. And then that all fell off. Like that's been months now. It's been months since that's happened. And I would really prefer that to have gone somewhere, because I liked where it ended, especially with Charlotte. With Charlotte ripping the doll and her having to pick up the pieces and just have a breakdown and then go to therapy. And like, I feel like that was the logical path to get her back. And you know what? Maybe they still probably bring her back as a different character, maybe a darker version of, you know, what she used to be. But
I don't know, man. I'm just I'm kind of looking at it now that it's like maybe Vince is starting to look at her like, I don't know, bud. You're not as not as fit into what we've got these days as we did back then, you know. And Derek, I'm interested to see like what you think about Alexa Bliss being, you know, possibly unhappy with creative, or creative doesn't have anything for her.
Well, once I
going
stop
back to
sneezing here,
creative is just Bruce Pritchard too. So like,
Here you go.
Bruce Pritchard doesn't have anything for her, also because he's stupid. So what we're saying is,
well,
nobody has brought in outside things because she's been gone for so long. And Bruce Pritchard himself, when asked about it, is So anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
so I know you guys thought, you know, of course, mentioned some personal things going on in her life and whatnot, but obviously we all know, and of course, them as the performers know when WrestleMania is coming. They know when the Super Bowl of wrestling is on the calendar a year in advance. You're not going to plan your wedding anytime near an area that's going to interfere with that, unless you're willing to, you know, step up to the plate and say, no, I'm willing to come out and perform. It's not a problem. I want to go ahead and influence some storylines. I want to go ahead and get myself set for the upcoming season of wrestling, which is what I definitely, you know, kind of view it as, is basically a new season of wrestling after WrestleMania. I think we all think that's the case, but I don't see any way that your wedding is going to change this. The problem is whenever they came back with those vignettes of the vignettes of
The
her
vignettes.
with the psychiatrist doing the Lily thing all over again. You know, like, this is over. She should have came back completely fresh. You want to be the goddess, that's fine. You want to do, you got to mix it up a little bit. You got to put a little twist on something. You can't just come back and do the same thing, and then all of a sudden we're gonna just throw you into the deep end of the storylines. We're trying to move on here.
Tom.
I think.
Yeah.
Tom.
What?
Isn't that what you just said?
That's totally what I just said.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for listening,
Get
Derek.
going.
Derek, we're gonna make you a whole human at some point.
Derek, listen,
Truth be
I
told,
listen.
we're gonna make you a
Derek,
better human.
to be fair, Derek sounds a little stuffly wuffly this evening. Okay, and
Yeah.
I bet you he's probably a little foggy.
So we're gonna make you a better human at some point. It's gonna
I feel
happen.
like I'm in the Marines of podcasts.
Yeah.
Like I'm at drill camp right now, and you guys are just,
Let's
you
get
know,
down to business.
yeah. I can't be a bitch about it. I just gotta take it and learn
I'll
from it.
make a man out of you. Anyway,
I don't know what that
my-
is, but that sounds creepy.
what the fuck? Holy shit! Hold on. You've never seen Mulan? What's wrong with you?
No, nope, not yet. No, I'm still in the SpongeBob
Not
stage
yet.
at this point.
It came out when you were like 9, bro.
No, hell no.
Absolutely.
Really? Yeah, no,
Faux
I
show.
didn't watch that. No.
What the fuck?
Never seen it. I know what you're talking about. I ain't
Great.
seen it.
Oh god, fucking West Virginia kids. Anyway,
Hey,
my
man, I
match
got
of the
Robin Hood from the 70s on VHS still. So I'm sorry. That's a hell of a fucking Disney movie right there.
It's great. It's fantastic. It is really good. I had it on VHS when I was also a child. back
lived
in
I have it
West
on the Blu-ray
Virginia.
now
That lived
because
in
I
West
still need
Virginia?
to continue reliving my childhood.
You realize it's on Disney Plus, right? Like you could just fucking stream the thing. You don't have to like clutter your house with this bullshit. You could just be
You
like,
realize I'm on Frontier Internet, though, right?
good God, just fucking move them. What the fuck are you even? What are
I'm
you
gonna
doing?
move. This is my territory. I ain't moving.
All
They
right,
better
good.
move to me.
They got to
Okay.
bring the internet to me.
I gotta go shoot my whistle pig. I'm eating good tonight. Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate you. All
Anyway,
of you.
God,
Legally.
matches this week. So
Plenty to pick
Oh,
from, Tom. What do you think, Tom?
fucking plenty to pick from, actually.
Lots of them, huh?
So
You got one?
I actually have three. It's really hard. So I'm gonna
Well,
point
that's a
out.
lot. Let's go through them.
I'm gonna point out that Riddle versus Riddle versus Jey Uso is actually really good, especially because how excited Randy was at the end after Riddle hits the RKO just out of fucking nowhere and gets the pin. That was great. Loved that one. Also, this isn't my match of the week only because it's Texas Death Match and like they had to insert the blood. However, the crown of barbed wire really like just tickles that like fucking asshole that lives in me. It tickles my internal asshole, which take it how you want. God, that might be my favorite spot. But Hangman, Adam Page, and Adam Cole, God, these guys are just
There was a couple high level like
my
wrestling
God.
personalities that were pretty upset with that.
Well, I'm not one of them. I'm that symbolism to me is
That
just
was
like,
funny.
oh
I was
my
into
God,
it.
that symbolism to me is just like, are we gonna do it? Let's go for it. Let's go. Like that's you don't like.
Excalibur fucking sold it too.
Oh my God, on Good Friday too. That redeemed like the whole match was good. Like I those guys in the ring. I don't care if it's a death match or a fucking. It doesn't matter what it is. Those guys are great. They are fantastic every time, and this was fantastic. And that spot particularly, like, it tickled that like mean kid inside because I got a lot of mean kid inside of me, and he lives in there, and he's a dick, but it tickled him. But truth be told, the best. Yeah, I know he does. But well, you've witnessed plenty of it because I was way less hinged, sub like 30. But truthfully, the match of the week for my money was Minoru Suzuki versus Samoa Joe. Now, what happened after the match was actually the worst fucking thing that happened this week. Truth be told, that Satnam Singh debut, literally the worst AEW debut ever.
Tony Khan says, "Well, you win some, you lose some. You set up this angle, and
he literally apologized for it and said it was wrong. He said it was wrong and apologized for it.
Yeah, he should have
remove it from happening.
He should have. Look, the apology.
He's going to re-debut next week.
No, he was here. He like double debuted like the following night. Anyway,
he had to. I mean, it was bad the first time.
Point being,
I'm done. Yeah, no worries.
Point being, oh my God, that was everything I wanted to see in a Samoa Joe match, in a Samoa Joe title match. God, they just beat the absolute shit out of each other. It was just like, just beat the shit out of each other, and then they did it more, and then just oh my God, it was the best fight. Like there were no chairs, there was no blood. Well, I mean, they might have been welts that bled. I don't really know, but like they're just oh my God. I watched it 4 times, and every time I watched it, it's so good. This is so good. And it was everything I could have possibly wanted it to be. And nobody brought out a chair, nobody brought out a bat. It didn't leave the ring really. It was just hit me. Now hit me. And hit me. And it was fucking good. Fun. Oh my God, dude, it was everything I want wrestling to be. It's everything I want Samoa Joe matches to be. And give me more of that and just fucking pour it right into my face every week. And I will adore you, and shower you with praise. Fuck yes, Samoa Joe's back, and I love it. I love it.
Derek, you feel that awkward silence?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your cue to go.
Baby.
All right. So, as much as I enjoyed, of course, all of these things, because we all know the blood and the guts, they get my heart pumping. I enjoyed the Texas Death Match. It made me happy. It was good stuff. But there was, and also the Minoru Suzuki, of course.
I got whiskey in my
Tom,
eyes.
you had such great points. Such great points. There was one though that, guys, this is probably gonna throw you for a little bit of a loop, but Madcap Moss and Humberto
Humberto.
Carrillo?
He's just Humberto. And that was that was killer.
How good was
Madcap,
Madcap Moss versus ham sandwich burrito.
yeah, ham
It
sandwich
was-
there. Ham sandwich bumped like a motherfucker for
He
Madcap
bumped
Moss.
hard. It
He
was a
bumped,
short
man.
match, but man, it was good.
It was
I
so
didn't
much
know how
bumping.
much I loved Madcap Moss until he left Baron Corbin and was like, or Happy Corbin. It's like this is great.
Oh,
He's really coming out as a primetime person. I'm good with this.
his after like I don't remember what his finish is called, but like when he does it, he goes ha ha. It made me laugh. So yeah,
I was really impressed with the match. It was almost like a
it was really
like
fun.
a squash match, but
It was a
It was
squash.
good. It was fun.
It
So
was
that was your match of the week.
That's my match of the week.
All of these great matches on TV, and that
I
was
wanted to
your
pick
match
something
of the week.
different because I know you guys would be like, "Oh, he's going to pick the Texas Death Match, or he's going to pick, the Fight Combat Club, which was
I
also
mean, that was a
lead
great
off match.
trios match.
You could have picked that one. You
I
liked
love
that
trios matches. I do.
one. Nobody was going to pick that one.
I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes I'm too predictable.
Wheeler Yuta cuts his own hair. Prove me wrong.
Wheeler Uter is fucking amazing. The
He
uterus of you.
He cuts his own hair though.
With the Floby.
You leave
does.
him alone.
He cuts his own hair.
Well, I mean, I would love to agree with you.
Can we make that a
you-
sign, Tom?
You can't make.
Whenever we go to the show.
Wheeler Yuta cuts his own hair.
Listen, all I'm saying is I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't see the Jericho Appreciation Society, and I
Me
don't get to
too.
yell Ever Rise Rules. Okay.
I'd rather see the Blackpool Pong Black Club, but whatever.
Blackpool, black bung.
Whoa,
You guys know what I'm saying.
Lamb, lamb, whoa.
I'm on that 2.5 meg internet. It's not all me being slurry. It's my internet being choppy.
Back combat.
Sorry.
Bub.
Back
poop.
Oh, you. Hey, Tom. By the
back
way,
poop
you made a comment about some slurry stuff in the group message. I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
No, because he came out later. You're right. He was fine. Apparently, it was just that point in time, and it was just he was trying to to the microphone, and it was far away, and he wasn't tall enough to get over the. It's fine. It's all good. So good for. I'm glad I was wrong.
Huge dick.
I said I hoped I was wrong, and I was wrong. I'm glad.
Because I watched it back last night, and I was just like, "Ooh, this must be what he was talking about." But so moving on, my match of the week was the AEW Tag Team Championship between Red Dragon and Jurassic Express. Man, it was a solid fucking tag team match. I really enjoyed it. Jurassic Express, like, I don't know. I'm not sold on Jungle Boy, right? Like, I'm not one of those guys that like Jungle Boy is the fucking future of the business. And there's a contingency of people like that out there. But you know what? He had a great tag team championship match. Him and Luchasaurus are actually a quality tag team, and I'm going to be really disappointed if they break that up. But Red Dragon is absolutely undisputed, and the fact that they are still able to do it at this point in time as well as they have for as long as they have, man, it's awesome. They're so much fun to watch, and what a great fucking match. So that was my match of the week this week.
Yeah,
I say-
baby.
Real quick before we finish. So, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, as known by JR. I don't know who the fuck Luke Perry is, but apparently
Bro,
that's a selling point that we
yeah, you
should
never-
all get behind.
Bro, you never watched
And
Beverly Hills 90210?
You are not
Negative.
that much younger than we are, dude.
You never went to the
no,
Peach
I'm not.
Pit?
I'm only like 2 years younger than you guys,
Huh?
but no,
You
I don't
didn't
know
go
what
to
that
West-
is.
You didn't go to West Beverly High's prom with Kelly? Huh?
No,
You didn't hang out
Kelly
at the Peach Pit
Kapowski
after hours?
at Beverly, or where was that? No,
Bayside.
Bayside.
Jiminy
Yeah,
Christmas, bro.
Bayside.
I'm
Kelly
sorry for you,
Kapowski,
bud.
baby.
I'm sorry for you.
Yeah.
I really am.
I don't
You-
know. I don't
I'm
know who
sorry.
Luke Perry is. So that gives me zero give a fucks on the JR scale. Because I shared a meme saying, like Jungle Boy, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. No, it does. It does nothing for me. And somebody tried to argue with me, like, "Oh yeah, well, it makes a lot more sense." No,
That's literally his name. Jack Perry's. That's literally his name. That's his birth name.
but they're trying to sell it as Luke Perry should be a selling point for Jack Perry to get over.
I mean, I don't know that that's the truth, but like
It's the truth
his-
from
that's
JR's
his-
perspective.
that's his name. I mean,
I
if
don't
you watch
know his
wrestling,
dad. I'm sorry. Is it like if I come out, Derek Wright, son of Rick Wright, from Reesville, West Virginia,
what was your
entering
dad
the
on?
ring?
Was your dad on a TV show that had like 10 million viewers a week?
I mean, he's a pretty big deal in Reesville.
Oh God.
If you ask 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so
Oh no, not like that, dickhead.
We'll update you from our trips to AEW Dynamite here later on this week. Can't wait to go spend some time with you guys on Wednesday, drinking some beers, watching some wrestling.
Yeah, I probably won't be there. I won't be allowed. I won't be allowed to.
We're gonna have to seriously consider.
There'll be a whole
after
separate
this
section
podcast.
for me. My updates will be on a whole separate video.
Derek's not allowed to go.
Nah.
he might need
I'm
some
going,
time.
but I'm shooting my own video.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. One where I can talk whenever I want.
If you're watching us on YouTube, I'm so sorry. You know that we exist. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Audio folks, thank you so much. We always appreciate your dedication to the show. Keep it going. Keep it going. Really do like it. You know what I'm saying? Guys, honestly, all bullshit aside, really, really can't wait for Wednesday. Gonna be a great time. But
It sure is.
Yeah.
we're way past our time here, so let's call her quits. With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.